Tonight's Discovery Card Key Matchup. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICA credit score. Checks your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scoreboard. Discover.com/credit scoreboard. We got all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff happening. Let's go via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. Peter King, NBCSports.com. All right, let's start. I'm going to go through. Let's start with Cliff Kingsbury. Took the USC job, and then about a month later, he goes to an NFL job, which is obviously better than being a coordinator in college. What do you make of the hire? What do you make of Kingsbury?
Well, Kingsbury really must have convinced Steve Keim, Michael Bidwill, that in fixing Josh Rosen and in preparing Josh Rosen with one of the best offensive minds in all of football, that was going to be worth, basically giving your whole team to. The big knock on Kingsbury at Texas Tech was that he was fairly myopic on the offense and wasn't a great recruiter or, a great defensive guy in any way. So I think the Cardinals have to be convinced now that they're going to get Kingsbury an above-average defensive staff and just let Kingsbury handle the offense.
Did you like what he did leaving USC?
No, I didn't like it at all. I'm just not a fan. He came there in the middle of their recruiting season. They had, 2 weeks left of the recruiting season. And then, who knows if any kid ended up going to USC because of him. But then he walks out. I don't like it very much. I try not to be on my moral high horse too much, but it just didn't seem right to me.
We got a trend going on. If you had a beer in the last 3 years with Sean McVay or a picture taken with him, you're going to get an NFL job. It's ridiculous. I think we're overreacting. I love what Tampa did with Bruce Arians. I think we're overreacting, Peter. I think it's become ridiculous now. Freddie Kitchens, good Lord, he'd never been hired by anybody as a coordinator 8 games. I understand they want somebody that Baker likes. I get it. I totally get it. But, Peter, is it possible here we're just overreacting, trying to find the next guy that knows Sean McVay?
Well, I think we might be overreacting to the offensive side of the ball because now it looks like there's a very good chance that 7 of the 8 hires could be offensive guys.
Wow.
Now because, who knows? There's a couple of hires left. And it sounds like the Jets, are going to hire Mike McCarthy or Adam Gase. So it's amazing that we have gone so far. And yet, Colin, on the first playoff weekend, what happened? There were all these defensive games.
Yeah.
And so, it's almost like, okay, Wink Martindale can't get a sniff in Baltimore, and he probably has the best defense in football at the end of this year. It's just a funny time in football because I think everybody has become convinced that you got to score to turn on your fans and have a great team. And we'll see if they're right. But, hey, look, Freddie Kitchens, I got to know him a little bit late in the year, Colin, and I'll tell you, I think in his own way, I think he's got a chance to be an excellent head coach. He's a gruff guy. He's very much a collector of ideas from his team. And 2 or 3 plays that he called this year, the thing that convinced me that Freddie Kitchens knows what he's doing is when the Cleveland Browns played Carolina.
Yeah.
Get this. They ran a play with Brashad Perryman going left across the formation and then sprinting back right pre-snap and getting a fake jet sweep handoff from Baker Mayfield. Then Baker Mayfield turns the other way. Jarvis Landry follows him, and he hands it off to Jarvis Landry. You can barely see it happen. And there's Luke Kuechly just standing there. I never see Luke Kuechly fooled. And on that play he was, and it was a touchdown for Cleveland. And again, look, this can't all be about smoke and mirrors and misdirection. But I'll just say this. In 8 weeks, on the fly, Freddie Kitchens did an unbelievable job, not just with Baker Mayfield, but with an entire offense that had been mediocre, and they were very hard to stop late in the year. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I want to talk about some of these games because I think they're fascinating this weekend. I think there's massive pressure on the Kansas City Chiefs. Between their history and Andy Reid's, they're a favorite. They have the MVP. Right. So let's talk about Colts-Chiefs. I think the Colts walk in knowing with the 9 draft picks and $100 million, they're really built for next year and the next 8. I think the pressure's all on Kansas City. What do you think transpires there at Arrowhead?
I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that because to me, the Colts are playing with house money. They can be as relaxed as any team heading into this weekend. You know, Frank Reich at the end of the game last week, or the end of the regular season, holds up a paper with the number 32. Like in early October, they were rated the 32nd best team in football. And now here they are on a 10-1 run. And I totally agree with you, but I'll just say this. This isn't Alex Smith's Chiefs anymore.
Right.
This is Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs. And he just is, hey, what me worry? I spent about 45 minutes with him last Friday for a piece with NBC this week for our pregame show. And I'm just telling you, Colin, this guy just, it's one of those, he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Right.
And he doesn't get all hot and bothered about anything. And I think, hey, look, I absolutely think the Colts could win this game, but especially if the Chiefs have Sammy Watkins back, okay? And they could have Sammy Watkins one side of the field, Tyreek Hill on the other side of the field, 2 4-3-5 guys, speed guys, separating the defensive backfield and really opening up the middle of the field. I don't know. I think if Watkins plays and is effective, I think they got too many weapons for almost any team to defend.
Yep,
now.
I have the Saints and the Chiefs. I think should be probably Super Bowl favorites. Okay, Cowboys Rams similarly. There's no pressure on the Cowboys. Okay, they're underdogs. They won their game. The owner loves the coach, has endorsed the quarterback and the coach. They've got the better defense. It'll be a neutral field at worst. I think they have the better roster of young, talented people. I mean, again, it feels like the pressure is on the Rams this weekend. It does to me. I mean, this is, come on, Sean McVay.
I agree. Yeah, Colin, I agree because last year they were favored, obviously, and lost to the 6-seeded Falcons, in the first playoff game at home. And they've got to show that they're better than they were last year and that this blip late in the season is not who they are because they didn't play great in the last month, particularly offensively. They had their moments, but consistently they were not great on offense. So to me, I think this is a bad matchup for the Rams because when I watch Ezekiel Elliott, I like I wrote in my column this week, I think Ezekiel Elliott could play in any era of football. I think that he's sort of a poor man's Jim Brown. And I'm not saying he's ever going to be Jim Brown, but I'm saying that he reminds me of him because he's physical, he's fast, and he's very smart. Those were 3 traits that Jim Brown had that put him ahead of his time in the late 50s.
Okay, and finally, nobody has given the Eagles a chance. And I picked the Eagles last week, and I think I like them this week, and I know it's zany. But you talked to Golden Tate this past week. There is something about Foles and this staff. Now, my theory on this, Peter, is he has to be more patient in the pocket, and he is a little more coachable. Whereas the Aaron Rodgers and the Wentz and the Cam, there's a burden of being really, truly gifted. Nick's not. He's just good. He's very easy to coach. He spreads the ball around. He is more patient with the play calling. I like Wentz, the player, over Foles, but you talked to Golden Tate. Philadelphia's got something going on with Nick Foles, and I finally buy it. What do you make of their chances?
I mean, it's crazy to say that 6 weeks ago they lost by 41 in New Orleans, and now they're going back to New Orleans. And you say, well, how can this work? How can they really have a chance? And, to me, Fletcher Cox put this well to me maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I said, what happened? Why has that game been the line of demarcation on your season? And he said, we got back, we met as a veterans committee with Doug Peterson, and we all agreed, flush that game, eliminate it. it doesn't matter. We're not going to focus on it. We're not going to obsess on it. We're not going to say, look at all the things we did wrong. We're just going to start all over again right now. And that's what they've done. Add to that the fact that they get Foles, who's cool hand Nick, and who basically he doesn't get riled up. As he's told me, I play with a quiet mind. The day of a game, what does he do? Does he study film? Does he do this? No. He journals about how to be a better father. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is a different human being than a lot of the quarterbacks that we've known. He tries to enter a game with classical music playing in his head, Colin. That is Nick Foles. And the reason I think they have a chance, like I probably wouldn't pick them in this game, but the reason I think they have a chance is they're a different team with Nick Foles there, and they're a different team entirely in the postseason because they are not going to let that Drew Brees offense breathe the way it did in November.
Yep, totally agree. Peter King, NBCSports.com. It's great talking to you. This time of the year is so much fun. Go break some.
Thanks, Colin.
Go break some more stories, Peter. Thank you. All right, Peter King. We'll give you the very latest. I told you, Mike McCarthy, if I'm the New York Jets, that's the guy I'd hire. Hey, if you own a sports team, you need to be informed and make smart decisions. No different when it comes to selling or buying a car. Go to TrueCar.com, check out their true price, tell you the fees, the accessories. You drive to the dealer, new or used car. You can save $3,000 off MSRP because you know what you're getting at a TrueCar.